Not long ago, I met a lovely young girl when her father bought her a voice lesson as a gift, and I discovered she is a huge theater buff and a huge Jekyll and Hyde fan. She was adorable. It was so much fun working with her. And then one day I got an email from her asking if I could do an interview because she was starting her own YouTube channel. And it's all about theater. She's so into theater. So I said, sure. And we recorded this interview that you're going to see little snippets of over the course of a little over an hour. I had so much fun talking to her, and I will put her information into the description for the video. So please help her out and go on over and check out her new young YouTube channel, and let's give her a boost and let her get going on this. And I hope that you might enjoy the interview. She asked me some actually interesting questions about Jekyll that I had never been asked before. Imagine that. So it was a lot of fun. Allie, you're a great kid. This for again?
I'm starting a YouTube channel.
And what's your kind of focus of your channel?
Like Broadway.
Oh, cool.
And like talking about musicals.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Also my Aunt Ashley, she would like when she was my age, she would like dance to like your music, and she thinks you're really cool and stuff.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. What's your favorite like costume that Lucy wore in Jekyll and Hyde, like the Broadway?
Ooh, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that one before. That's a good question. Well, probably the one that I wore in the summer, like you seen, because it was just fun to wear the skirts and
Yeah,
have sort of a semblance of what they wore in those days,
Mm-hmm. Like, was the hat, was it like a heavy kind of hat, or was it just like a light?
It's not terribly heavy. I actually still have the hat.
You do?
Yeah, they gave it to me, although when the show closed, because I left, I was the first one of the original cast to leave because I've been involved with it for so many years, so I just really needed to move on. And then the story of that hat, I'm a big person. I'm 5'10", and I have a big, face, and I can carry off a big hat. So that's why that brim was huge, but it worked on me.
Yeah.
And then when the next Lua Mason came in after me, her face was more narrow than mine, so they ended up cutting the hat down. The brim, unfortunately, they cut the brim down a bit. And then it went on, for the whole rest of the run for the people that have used it. But when the show closed, they actually gave me the hat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it hangs down in my little studio I have downstairs. Yeah.
What happened to the rest of the set, like the laboratory set and like?
No idea. I'd like to think some of it got used for something rather than being thrown away, but
yeah, they I think, do they have like a Broadway museum or something?
They must. I don't know where it is or if there is one, but it seems crazy that they wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Those are good questions.
Yeah. Do you like Bring on the Men better or Good and Evil?
Oh, Bring on the Men.
Yeah. Definitely. How come they cut it from the 94?
That's a good question too. I don't know. I think because the Broadway director wanted maybe a song that was sort of telling the story more, the whole idea of good and evil, but I think that was a silly reason. It didn't need to be. And it's the one moment that I really regret that I didn't play the diva, because I'm not a diva. I was never demanding, never saying, oh, I must have this, I can't perform,
Yeah.
That's the one thing I should have put my foot down and said, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this piece if you change the song, because it was such a fun song that people love to this day, and it was a great way to introduce my character, and
yeah,
sort of lost that, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, because I remember when I watched the one with David Hasselhoff, like first time in like August, I think it was. I was like, wait, where's Bring on the Men? Because I was waiting for like that to come on.
I know.
And I was sad. Yeah. How come The World Has Gone Insane? How come they took that off of the Broadway version as well?
Oh, probably just same reasons, like just storytelling. And, you know, if it were up to Frank, it'd be 50 more songs in it, you know, because he wrote the music. But I'm sure it had to do with just the director thinking we need to move the show along, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be like one of my favorite songs from the 94 version. What was Anthony Warlow like? Because I've seen because I know he was in Phantom of the Opera too. Like, what was he like?
Great. Very nice man. A lot of fun. Aside from the voice, you know, which is amazing. Just fun. He's really good at doing impressions of people and voices and stuff. And like a lot of theater people, you know, we're all hams and like to be the, you know, center of attention. So we do whatever we need to do
Yeah.
to get attention. And he was like that as well. But also at the same time, a very elegant man. You know, he could be really funny and goofy, but him in himself is quite elegant. And, you know.
Yeah, isn't he Australian, I think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't really heard anything from him.
Well, he's a huge star over there. And if he had come earlier, and you know, the thing is, he got throat cancer.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and that set him back in his career a bit because obviously fortunately, they didn't think he'd be able to sing again because of where it was located, but it was removed, and then he had the recovery period. But it's part of the reason. If he would have come and done Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway, as you know, we didn't know of Cuccioli at that point, so it's no knock against Robert or anything, but Anthony, you know, he could have done the role, but he didn't want to do the two voices. When anytime you lower your voice and try to talk really gruff, you know, like that, if that's not your natural voice, it's very hard on the voice.
Yeah.
You know, and Bob Cuccioli was, you know, he was great doing that. I'm sure he paid, you know, paid the price every night too, doing that. And Anthony because of what he'd been through with his voice, and he was also so known not as a pure beautiful singer, so he just didn't want to take a chance of just wrecking his voice and not being able to continue to work.
What made you want to audition for Jekyll and Hyde, like in the first place?
I didn't actually. I met Frank first, and he's the one who told me, you know, that I should get involved with it. I didn't really have to audition for it.
Yeah, but you're my favorite, like Lucy, like who played her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what was I gonna say? When did Robert come along? Because I know he was like in the '95 tour.
Mm-hmm.
But like, was there a person before him?
Yeah, the very, very first production that we did was in Houston, 1990, and that was with Chuck Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
He had met Frank in college. They were college buddies.
Oh.
Did theater there, and yeah, he was our first Jekyll. You know, and then that was in 90, and then in 94 came around. I'm not sure why. I don't know why Chuck didn't do it. I don't remember the circumstances, but you know. But now, just so you know, you like the 94 version, and that's the same director who did 1990. And the show was changed because they were adapting it to try to get it to Broadway, but it's the same director, so the same sensibility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just think some of the parts that they do with the Broadway version and the 94 version, the things that they do, I think are better than the Broadway. It looks more like, oh my God, that happened.
Right.
The scene where Hyde becomes Jekyll in front of Utterson. Yeah, it's Utterson. And like when he like, I think he tells he sends a letter to Lucy telling her to like leave London.
Yeah.
And during that scene when like I saw how like right after the song he became Hyde again, and I didn't realize that until like I watched it a couple weeks ago again.
Right.
And I like the when after Lucy gets killed, that I was bawling my eyes out of that scene. It's just sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I like how they did that version, like in the Broadway, because like he just, you know, stabs her and then she dies. But I like how they did it for the 94 version, where like he becomes Jekyll right after that, and he sees what he did, and then he's like, "Oh my God, no!" Or I can't remember what he says.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was so cool.
Those were a little more romantic.
Yeah.
Come on. We all want him to be with Lucy.
Yeah. Have you read the book, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde?
Yeah.
Same, because I read it like a month after I found out about the musical, and I was like, wait, where's Lucy and where's Emma? And then I saw that Hyde murders Sir Danvers in this, and I was like, wait, doesn't he get married to Emma?
Yeah, it's Hollywood is what created the women characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the Spencer Tracy one the best.
Yeah.
That one is amazing. I don't like it I like how they did it in the musical, where they didn't make Hyde look like a gorilla, and because in the movies that's what they did, and I was kind of like, I like how they do it in the Broadway version. He looks more like scary than
it's almost like the werewolf, cross between the werewolf.
Yeah. Because I actually watched Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman last night, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like Hyde.
Yeah, I know. I think it must have been the same makeup person that did it, because it's the same era.
Yeah. Do you like Fred Astaire and like Ginger Rogers movies?
Oh yeah.
Same. They're just amazing.
Yes.
Also, like a month ago, I got this souvenir program thing, and I was looking for it, looking in it. It's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad thought it was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's from the Broadway tour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or is it the tour? Is it the?
Is that the tour one? I can't tell unless you see the pictures.
Oh,
is that the one from Broadway?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my dad gave me his playbill too. He said he was gonna do like stage door, but he saw it was school and they had to leave. He said he would have loved to meet you guys though.
Oh, yeah. I know. I met everybody. I stayed as long as it took, and at the stage door every night. So yeah, I would have, if he'd have stayed, I would have been there, unless I was sick.
Yeah.
Always the hardest part for me. Every now and then you get sick and you can't do a show, and then when you come back, somebody invariably would walk up meet me at the stage door and go, I brought my dying mother all the way from blah blah blah, and you weren't on. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
I can't remember if I asked this before, last time we met, but what was Robert like?
He's a really, really sweet guy. I mean, people see him as this passionate kind of actor, but he's very almost soft-spoken and quiet and kind of much more contained, very sweet kind of a guy. Just so opposite of Hyde, which is why it shows how well he acted that, because that's not his normal way of being. A lot of actors are, they're just loud all the time and always on, but that's not him at all.
And another thing I like with the original cast too is it makes this the whole thing seem real. My dad was saying when he saw you singing Someone Like You, you made it seem real. It was actually
Well, I there's kind of two schools of theater. One is the kind of you chew up the scenery, they say, that kind of big kind of acting that's very different from movie or TV acting, but I don't know why it needs to be that big. I'm not really a fan of that style. I'm much more a fan of realistic kind of acting.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I am, the way I act. So some people wouldn't, they wouldn't like me for that reason, but then other people would, because they don't like that. They're like me, and they don't like that kind of over the top kind of Broadway kind of acting. But yeah, that's, I don't know what you call it, a kind of actor I am, but it's just a very naturalistic way of doing it.
Yeah. What's the safest way to learn how to belt?
Oh, that's well, in a nutshell, to make sure it's supported.
Yeah.
That you're really singing on your core, the muscles of your core up into your neck, really well supported, instead of thinking of it all coming from here.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen videos of people singing and then their voice cracked and they couldn't talk for a few days or a few hours or so.
Yeah, you can definitely easily damage a voice, trying to be big and loud.
Julie Andrews, I think something happened with her. Or maybe she likes
Frank wrote some of the more music for Victor Victoria when they brought it to Broadway, because Henry Mancini had died, and that's how we got to know Julie Andrews and her husband who directed that, Blake. And that was the start of kind of her voice going down, because she again was trying to lower her voice to do the man, right? Pretend she was a man, which is very, very hard. And then when you're doing 8 shows a week,
kind of gets to you.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened to her voice, but yeah, sad, because she had one of the most beautiful voices ever, and then not be able to sing at all after that. That that had to be terrible.
Yeah. Do you like what's your favorite like Universal like monster, like Frankenstein or like Dracula or
Wolfman?
Mine would be Frankenstein.
Mm.
I just like the storyline is just really good.
Right, but he's himself isn't really the character. The star of it is always Dr. Frankenstein, and he's the monster. But the character itself is just going, that.
Yeah. Also, like, because I also have like an Instagram account too. Like a bunch of my followers are just saying like hi and stuff, and they really like enjoy like your singing and stuff.
Are you live? Are you streaming live?
No, I'm not streaming live. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde is just like it should be. It's like one of those shows that should be like Hamilton, where like they're really like well known. It's just like really underrated and just like, oh, come on.
Well, Broadway's tough. It's really tough because it's so expensive.
Oh yeah.
Because the theater's not that big, so they just need them packed every single night, even to really make their nut and make money on it. And if they don't do one or two things just right, like screw up the casting like they did with Jekyll, I really believe if they hadn't done that, it would would have run a lot longer. But that combination of just magic has to be there in order to become an iconic show on Broadway that just stays. Very, very, very few ever do that. So,
what's like something funny that happened like either on stage or backstage at Jekyll and Hyde?
Well, on stage, the button on my skirt broke, and I was holding it. My whole butt was showing, and I was holding my skirt up while I finished Someone Like You.
Oh.
It's a lot of things have happened. Well, in 1990, for our last show, when Chuck, in the scene with Lucy, I take my thing down and show my shoulder. He pretends to be working on my shoulder, so I wrote something on my shoulder. I can't remember what I wrote. Gosh, I'm trying to think what it was, but I knew he would probably laugh, and he did. Yeah, those kind of things happen all the time. That's what I love about live theater, and you'd be amazed how much people are goofing off right backstage just seconds before they go walk out on stage.
Right. Was there ever a time that like your mic was on, like you didn't know like it was on and like it was forgot to be
not
like
mine, but it's happened to, definitely happened to other people.
It has?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know if a specific thing in Jekyll. I know on the tour of Jekyll, remember the Nellie? She was the like Lucy's friend who was also a hooker.
Yeah.
She was played by my friend Nita Moore, and she was up in the stairwell singing and warming up her voice during the show, and the stairwell was so loud and reverberating that we all heard it in the theater.
Oh my gosh.
And they told them, they went running to find her, and then after the show they were like, what were you doing? You were singing.
Yeah, because one time I was on, because Christiane Knoll, is that how you say her name? Christiane Knoll was live on Instagram, and I joined on, and she saw my question, like, and she said that one time during the scene where Hyde, I think he kills like the Bishop of Basingstoke or something. They like the guy who was playing him got like scalp surgery or something, and then hit it, and then it was like bleeding.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell the funniest story that ever happened with Jekyll really happened in 1990 when we were in previews. Now the show was brand new. The guy for music was my musical director, Jeremy Roberts, who obviously came in to work on the thing. And everything was on computers, and he sat the Alley Theater has what they call a vomitorium, which the seats go up from the stage. The stage is sort of a little bit off the ground, but that's below. And then the seats start, and then they go up in a half circle. But right in the middle, going down to the floor underneath the stage, was you could run down that way and also to get to the dressing rooms. And down there is where they put Jeremy with all his equipment and his computers, and he was playing the whole show on computers with just a couple other instruments down there playing. And Frank hadn't even finished all the incidental stuff, all the incidental bits of music that go in between, you know. So during the show, he was even calling out, okay, play a B flat, now play this, you know, well, because it was also new and fresh, and not that any of our understudies would ever go on, so we didn't really technically have them. We didn't have understudies. And what often happens in previews is because you're working so many hours, so long hours, a lot of times someone will get a cold because you get run down, and then the cold will go through the entire cast. Everybody gets sick. Well, our lead, Chuck Wagner, got sick. He got a bad cold. He lost his voice. So, and we had an audience coming. We had to go on. So it was set that Dave Clemens would sing for him off stage. So, and this was just like, you know, the day of, we're all realizing, oh my God, he can't sing. We have to do this. So the show's going on. And then all of a sudden we realize, well, Dave Clemens plays the bishop, which means Hyde has to kill him. So he kills the bishop, and then he stands over the body, and Dave Clemens died facing the audience, but he rolled upstage and sang alive with Chuck standing over him, lip syncing it.
Oh, wow.
So the person he's just supposedly killed is the one laying on the ground, belting out alive, while he's standing up going, oh. And it was like the most surreal moment in theater. It's like one of those things that if that had been on Broadway, everyone would know about it. But because and still a lot of people do know that story, but it happened in 1990 in the very first workshop production of Jekyll and Hyde.
Was there ever a time that that happened to you, where you weren't feeling well or something?
Yeah.
You went on?
Exactly. It happened to me on Broadway, same situation. It was, I think, previews again. And in fact, someone sent me a little snip of it. It was actually on some guy's channel. My understudy was Emily Skinner, who went on to do Sideshow and all that. And I got sick. We had all been getting sick. I got a really bad cold, chest cold. And when I get that, I can't sing, I can't belt, anything. Mm-hmm. And I was delirious. I should have been home in bed. I had a fever. I was delirious. And I didn't want to go on, but the director talked me into it. To have her, I would do my lines and also sing all the incidental smaller bits, and then she would sing my big songs and I'd lip sync them. So that's what we did, and it was horrible. It was just embarrassing, and because our styles are very different, you know. Mm-hmm. When you create a role and the songs are basically written for you, you know, you have a way of and I'd sung them already for so many years. So, and she was new, and the timings were completely different, and
yeah.
But it wasn't fun.
Was there ever a time that you when you had to be on stage and then you missed it?
Nope.
Oh, that's good.
But my funniest thing with that, I mean, it wasn't funny at the time, it was a nightmare, because I'd never done theater. Opening night of Jekyll, first preview night, right? So first time with a live audience.
On Broadway or in
1990 in Houston. I was so nervous that I remembered everything I needed to do on stage. I couldn't remember where I was supposed to go. And the minute I came off stage, I couldn't think. I didn't know what was next. I had to, my dressers would grab me. Okay, so now you're going to do this. You're going to go here and you're going to do this. Because I could not think. I had no idea. I was so nervous that I just could not think at all I couldn't put one foot in front of the other at that moment. I didn't even know what direction I was supposed to walk in.
In the 1990 and through like 95, like before it went on Broadway and stuff, would they use like fake blood or no? Because I know they didn't for Broadway.
We didn't have blood on Broadway? Oh yeah, I guess we didn't. Well, what was the question? It was all fake blood, but what was the question?
Would they use like fake blood for like during the show?
Well, they used in Houston and maybe the tour, it was chocolate with red food coloring. Like Hershey's chocolate syrup with red food coloring in it.
Oh, I never knew that.
And then on Broadway, did we have blood on Broadway? I can't even remember. No, we didn't have blood. We had blood. I have a whole thing of Rob and I. It's on a video of us rehearsing how the blood is going to be done. It was vials of blood that were in these little things in his hand, and had to like this or yeah, I don't exactly remember because I got all three of the different productions, and then because remember there was also a workshop that was done.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 3-day work, 3 days of performance, weeks of the different director all together. That was a fiasco, but I kind of get them all mixed up in my mind. So yeah, Broadway there was no blood, but there was blood on the tour because I have a lot of photos of me coming off stage and all white with the blood,
Yeah, would like, because I noticed for like This Is the Moment they changed like the words to it, and like the storyline seems a little different from the Broadway version, because I looked at it in the song No One Knows Who I Am is at like the end, towards the end of the musical, not in like the beginning, like how it is on Broadway, like she's singing No One Knows Who I Am and then she goes on and performs. And I was like, I didn't know that until like last night, because that's when I checked to see.
Yeah, everything gets changed. It moves around. Songs come and go.
How did they come up with like the costumes and everything? I don't think I could ever like come up with costumes or anything.
Well, that was, the costume designers, they hire people who are as passionate about that as other people are about what they do. They live their lives buried in research of what period costumes look like, and then how to make them. Because it isn't just, okay, that's what it looks like now, but it's like, how the heck do you make that? Because the clothes were much, much more structured, and it was like putting a building together. If you don't know how to do the basics of it, you couldn't even begin to make the thing. So yeah, it was fun. I think the costumes on tour, they were really beautiful as well. I think that's the part I love the costumes and dressing up in period stuff with the wig,
yeah, same,
all that. Yeah.
Like how like for the, because I know on like, I don't know if it was for the, oh yeah, like when you had to wear a corset, how like did they have it a little bit looser so then like you could sing more, or like with that,
No,
or was it actually
you weren't cranking yourself down like, you couldn't breathe, but they were real corsets and they were cinched up just like, but there's pros and cons, because then it can't maybe take quite as much air in the lower lung, but there's also something to push against besides the air in your diaphragm. With your diaphragm muscle and stomach muscles can push against the corset for that extra oomph when you're running out of air, so that helps, as much as it takes away, it also adds, so it all evens out.
What's your favorite scene that like was in the show that like you weren't in?
Good question. I think I like the one between Emma and Jekyll when he's distressed. Remember, and she comes and then she sings.
Once Upon a Dream.
Oh, and I also like the quartet.
Yeah, that Your Work and Nothing More, His Work, Nothing More.
Yeah, I like that music and the whole way that all came together.
Oh yeah, that I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
How
that
come
was his best? I think that was Frank's best theater craft writing for that piece.
Oh really?
Yeah. For that show, anyway.
How come they didn't put the full wedding reception on the 97 album, but they did on the one with Anthony Warlow?
I don't even know. I haven't listened to that one in so long. I don't remember the difference between them. Are you saying that the whole version that's on Broadway is not on the Broadway cast album?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when Jekyll goes to the Board of Governors to tell them if he can use a person to test his HJ7 on, and they that part they didn't put that in the Broadway version.
Probably because you can only have so many minutes on a DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't fit it without making it a double, I think.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have enough to make it a double CD. And the one with Anthony Warlow was a double.
Did they do things I know did he actually do the show, or did they just call him to ask him to do the recording?
No, he never did the show.
Oh, he didn't? Oh, I didn't know that.
No, he didn't want to do it because, like I said, he didn't want to put that strain on his voice. Doing it in the studio, to record it is one thing, but doing it 8 shows a week is, that's something altogether different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this, that, because I remember I first saw that scene, the wedding reception. It was, I think it was the 95 one. And I was like, wait, that happens? Because I thought it was how, I didn't know Jekyll died. And I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, wait, what? Because I was so shocked how that, I just think that's crazy how, they did that.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
Well, I know a funny story, speaking of him dying. When on the tour, the gun wouldn't fire. And so Philip, as Utterson, had to kill him. So he ran at him and hit him with the gun. He had no choice. He had to think of something. And he, that was thinking on his feet. But it was pretty funny.
Who was that with? Was that with?
That was Bob and Philip.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was Robert kind of like, wait, what? Or did he know
I'm
that?
sure, but I'm sure they're looking at you like, what do we do now? And then Philip just ran at him, and Bob said, okay, I know what he's doing. We'll go with this, Philip was
That's actually pretty funny.
He was the original Utterson in '90 as well.
Yeah. I haven't really heard him do anything else after that.
Well, we did a piece called Svengali, which I loved doing that with him because it was the same 2 actors. It was Chuck again and Philip. I played a character named Trilby in Svengali, and we did that in Houston, and we took it also to Florida. So that was fun. I had them, but Philip, yeah, he's done. Well, he did Into the Woods. He was in Into the Woods.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Oh, I never knew that. Mm-hmm. What was I know it's not very George Merritt. What was he like?
Nice man. Yeah, he's gone, really sweet guy.
What about I forget his name. Barry Ignam, or is that how you say his name?
Yeah. Again, he was, to me, he was like a real actor. And anyone speaks with an English accent, to me, it's like a real actor. So to me, he always seemed like he wasn't even acting. He was just doing his Britishness, and it was great.
Yeah, just amazing. But everyone who played Utterson and Sir Danvers did amazing.
Yeah.
I like how in the beginning they started it with Utterson and Sir Danvers narrating it pretty much. I like how they did that.
Yeah.
That was a really cool. And how big was the stage? Was it a big stage, or was it just a little?
No, the Plymouth's not that big. So but they made it seem bigger because he built a stage on a stage. So we had the upper part of the stage and then the lower part. Yeah, I thought the sets were okay.
What stage design did you like better? The 95 one, or the on Broadway, like the stage format?
Well, I liked the 1990 at the Alley the best. And I like because the way they had the balcony for the Bring On the Men. I got to come in, and the spiral staircases going down each side, and I think we did that on. Did we do that on the tour? I can't even remember. But I don't remember. I mean, the sets were well, we used projections and different things, but the lab looked amazing on tour, because we played very large theaters on tour, sometimes 4,000 seat theaters. So everything was bigger and grander, lots of things bubbling and all kinds of crazy stuff in the lab and on tour. But
like the things that were on the for the Broadway, like for the lab, was everything like kind of like nailed down into the laboratory set, or was everything just like sitting on the? Because like when it moves back and like moves in front.
I'm sure everything that could be secured was secured. Yeah.
Like for syringes, how many did they only have like one, or did they have like a bunch of them that they'd use? Like if one got lost.
I have no idea. That's not something I would have been paying attention to.
Yeah.
That'd be a question for Bob.
Yeah.
If they broke, I don't think they got lost. There's a person who's in charge of that part of it. It's the prop person who's in charge of that every night. So it's not like one person who has a lot of all these different things to do. It's broken up. Okay, this is your thing. This is your thing. So the chances of things like that getting lost are not very high.
Mm-hmm. What made them change it from the drink to the syringe, or was it just like I don't know, kind of like a little
more kind of. I think that was Greg who did that initially, because he's kind of dark. He likes that dark gothic kind of twisted sensibility it has. So it's more like shooting yourself up with heroin or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's I like hearing this like stuff, because it's like really cool to hear, because like with Hamilton, it's so popular right now. Like if you like to meet with like Lin-Manuel Miranda, that would be like a lot, and I don't think he'd be doing that because of how like famous he is right now. But I mean, it's so cool because like favorite musical, and like I get to like hear stuff like about it, and it's just really cool.
I'm just different.
Yeah.
I don't care. I talk to anybody, and I love everybody, and yeah. I'm a different kind of person. I'm a very different kind of person than a lot of the people you'll find in acting and theater, because that's just my sensibility.
I'm kind of that way too. I can be like kind of quiet then sometimes, but then like when I'm talking about something that like I enjoy and stuff,
yeah,
I'm just all like, did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know this? And it was just right. Yeah, thanks for doing this with me today. This just like means a lot to me.
You're so welcome. I wish you luck with your channel. I mean, channels are a lot of work, but it's kind of the way of the future. You never know what's going to hit. So you just, the goal, the key thing is that you got to keep putting content out there. Even if you don't think you have anything worth putting out there, it's more important to put it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also today I got an honor roll from my school, and I was just like,
wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I like take a picture real quick so I can kind of remember this too? All right, 3, 2, 1. Do you like Les Mis too? Like I love Les Mis.
That's my favorite.
Oh really?
That's my favorite, yeah. And definitely my favorite of all the songs in it. I love every single song in it.
My favorite's One Day More. That song is just like amazing.
Yeah. No, it's definitely when I first started really seeing musicals, I was lucky I got to see, well, my first one was Chorus Line, because it was still running when I got to New York, and I got to go see it. But I saw Les Mis and Phantom at the same time.
Oh, really?
One trip in America and also in England. And it made me, like I cried like once during Phantom, but I cried like 4 times during Les Mis.
Yeah, I watched the 25th anniversary. Yeah, I watched the 25th anniversary one that's on Broadway HD.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the end is just so sad because especially when he says like, Christine, I love you, that part, I lost it. It was like, because I for some reason stay up late sometimes, and I was watching it. Everyone's asleep, and I'm over here bawling my eyes out over a musical.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. It was great talking to you, and
Great talking to you too.
I love your enthusiasm, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Say hi to your dad.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.